About the Eagles. They start the year 7-2. They've lost 6 in a row, thus out of the playoff hunt. And now a lot of questions concerning next year.
Well, Jeff Lurie owns his team. He will do what he wants to do. First of all, do you get rid of the quarterback? And it appears that Randall Cunningham wants out of here. Secondly, do you get rid of the quarterback and the head coach and start from scratch? It's his team. You know, you talk to players. Rich Kotite has won 9 games on an average the last 4 years. The players enjoy playing for him. Go figure.
Here in Cincinnati, you spent 13 years, went to 11 Pro Bowls, a couple of Super Bowls. And I know you're not all that crazy about the direction of the franchise right now.
Well, now that I've traveled around the NFL and I've heard a lot of teams, the Bengals have sort of been the laughing stock of the league. And after being here for so long, it is tough to hear that. You look at Dave Shula, a young head coach, only has 10 wins in 3 years. Is it the head coach or is it management that's $3 million under the cap and really hasn't provided him with the talent? Or do you look at the talent they have as young players, and as we heard this weekend and read this morning, do they lack leadership and maybe lack a little bit of motivation?
Well, we'll address some of those issues today when we come back. The kickoff, the final game of the regular season, the Eagles and the Bengals, after this message from your local Fox station. Back in the Queen City, Cincinnati, today the final game in the wonderful career of Tim Crumrye.
Nose tackle, number 69, Timmy Crumrye.
Crumrye, a 10th round pick back in 1983. Today his final game after 12 seasons, a couple of Pro Bowls. We'll talk more about him later throughout the broadcast. Jeff Wilkins will kick it off for Philadelphia. The Bengals have won the toss, selected to receive, and waiting back, number 19, Jeff Hill, a Cincinnati native, alongside Adrian Hardy. And we're underway at Riverfront. This is Hardy. He took a lick at the 22 from number 57, Mark Woodard. That's where the Bengals will put it in play, led by third-year quarterback Jeff Blake. He has electrified this town with his inspirational play. The only AFC quarterback with twice as many touchdowns as interceptions. Due to injuries, the offensive line has been a shuffle all year long. Kozerski, the lone member to start all 15. In the backfield, Harold Green joins a rookie Jeff Cothran. The wideouts Pickens and Scott, perhaps the league's best young duo. Tony McGee is the tight end. 2 tight ends set for the Bengals. Come out throwing. And they pitch it out to Carl Pickens, a gain of 8. What a year it has been for Pickens. That might put him over the 1,000-yard mark for the season.
As we look at the Eagles' defense along the front line, a guy that's made not only the Pro Bowl in the AFC, but now in the NFC, William Fuller, who has 9.5 sacks. The linebacker position led by William Thomas with 115 tackles and 6 sacks to go along with that. In the defensive secondary, Coach Kotak said he's played like a Pro Bowler. That's Greg Jackson, 5 interceptions, which is 4th in the NFC.
They pitch it to Cothran, the rookie out of Ohio State. He's close to the first down marker. Needed to get to the 35. Britt Hager made the stop.
Tom, we might see something a little different than we're used to seeing from this Bengal offense in the last several years. You know, they're used to running the ball at the tackles both ways. Now they're running a few more pitches, a few more isolated plays where they'll have a lead back go through the hole, try to block the linebacker. But they come out with their first play and they throw the ball. They put it up.
Well, they go to the I formation. Cothran in front of Harold Green. 3rd and a yard. Play fake. Blake looking downfield. He has his man. And it's caught by Pickens all the way down to the 15. Eric Allen on the coverage. And it's been a big play Cincinnati offense all year long.
Well, as we look at it, they come out, they run the ball in the second play right here, a run fake to their left. Blake comes out with nobody around him, and Carl Pickens is out there with Eric Allen on the coverage, and the ball hangs up a little bit, as we see right here, but Carl Pickens goes up and he makes the catch.
So the Bengals down to the Philadelphia 15. Pickens has gone over the 1,000-yard mark in receiving yards this season. Harold Green stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Well, you know, you talk about those big plays, Anthony. The Bengals lead the NFL this season with now 12 passing plays of 50 or more yards. No other team in the league has more than 6.
We saw one of the guys that's been involved there in Carl Pickens. The other guy, Darnay Scott, and it's amazing what having Scott there with Pickens has done for him, because you look at the games that Carl Pickens has had and you think it's been that way all along. But he's the first to say that Darnay Scott has created that for him.
Pickens, a big physical receiver. 2nd and 8, play fake, good protection to the end zone. And it's overthrown, intended for the tight end, Tony McGee.
Well, that's one of the things that you can see from this Bengal team quite a bit. And the quarterbacks in the past, and now as you saw right there with Jeff Blake, they do a super job of the play-action fake and hiding the football, make it appear that it is a run, and they pop up and they try to hit the guys downfield. But, you know, far back as the early 80s, that's been a big part of this Bengal offense.
Greg Townsend and Bert Grossman check in along the Philadelphia defensive front on this 3rd and 8 for Cincinnati. Pickens in motion. And again, good protection for Blake. Caught by Pickens to the end zone. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Carl Pickens, his 11th touchdown this season, and that breaks a Cincinnati record for touchdowns by a wide receiver in a single season.
Well, as we look at what happened here, you see Carl Pickens coming in motion there. Bill Romanowski right there trying to get a hand on him, lets him go across. But Jeff Blake has just enough time as Andy Harmon gets there a bit too late as he hits Carl Pickens and he takes it into the end zone.
Pelfrey on for the extra point, and it is good. So Cincinnati marches down the field on its opening drive, and in just under 4 minutes, able to throw 7 on the board. Hall in downtown Cincinnati. The Bengals out to an early 7-0 lead, and certainly the combination of Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens having a great deal to do with that drive.
Well, Tom, it's not like they took it 76 yards against an average defense. You're looking at an Eagle defense that ranks number 4 in the NFL.
Lee Johnson boots it away. Herschel Walker from the 15. Tries to break it outside. Nowhere to go. Covered well by Kevin Jefferson. Philadelphia offense, Bubby Brister getting his 2nd straight start after the benching of Randall Cunningham prior to last week. Up front, after giving up 23 sacks in the prior 6 games, the Eagles last week benched Antone Davis for rookie Joe Panos and the right tackle Broderick Thompson for Tom McHale. With the loss of Charlie Garner to a knee injury last week, Walker joined in the backfield by Joseph. Great wide receiver core, Barnett and Williams. Maurice Johnson is the Philadelphia tight end. First and 10, and the give is to Walker, and he's to the 30, a gain of nearly 3.
Well, as we look at this Bengal defense, the most notable back in there is Tim Crumry starting at that defensive tackle position as Big Daddy Wilkinson came up, initiated, said, hey, your last game, you have to be in there starting. That's why we see Tim Crumry starting. Linebackers led by James Francis, very athletic for a big man, has 5 sacks. In the secondary, they're still waiting for Darrell Williams to start making the big plays.
Good look at Crumry. He made the game's first tackle. Brister dumps it off across the middle to Fred Barnett. He has a first down to the 43. Tackle made by Darrell Williams.
Funny talking to Bubby Brister yesterday after watching him play last week. I said, Bubby, how could you sit for so many games with as much energy as you have? And he said, it was tough, but I just had to maintain and stay under control. But now he has his shot for the 2nd week in a row.
Yeah, he said he made a comment about liking to drink an occasional beer, and the Philadelphia press made it sound like he was some terrible guy. As bad a season it's been, or at least a kind of couple of months it's been for the Eagles. First carry of the game for Vaughn Hebron. And he goes out the left side for a gain of nearly 5.
Well, tackle made there by a nice pickup from Ohio State, Steve Tovar. As we look at the Eagle offense here, try to seal the guys off there. Ricardo McDonald, nice block there, push to the outside, which allows Hebron to make that run. Nice job up front by that Eagle offense.
2nd down and 5 for the Eagles. Walker in motion, and they'll give it to Hebron again. Around the right side. 1st down and more. Crossing midfield all the way down to the Cincinnati 42 before being pushed out of bounds.
Well, they go Hebron left. Give it to him again. Let's go right. He did well on that run. Why not give it to him again as Bubby Brister turns? Get a nice look right here. A little motion by Herschel Walker. Nice block by Tom McHale. Occupying James Francis just enough. You have Herschel Walker, who's unbelievable for this football team. I mean, not only rushes the ball, but an excellent blocker. He plays on special teams. The guy's been around for a while. Still doing a super job.
Gain of 11 by Hebron, and now the throw downfield sideline and slightly overthrown to Calvin Williams, 5th-year wideout from Purdue.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch that left side of the Eagle offensive line. Of course, they have their #1 pick, Bernard Williams, at the left tackle, 6'8", 317. I bet he could play power forward. Then they now have Joe Panos in there, the rookie from Wisconsin. So it'll be very interesting to watch those 2 rookies on the left side work against Alfred Williams and Keith Rucker.
Well, John Lucas, the head man for the 76ers, might be talking to Williams a bit later. Hebron stuffed at the line of scrimmage by Keith Rucker. Talk about a big man. How about Rucker?
Wow. 6'4", 340 pounds.
For the Eagles, certainly a final game like this, a bitter disappointment. Had 7 wins in the first 9 games, and then the season just simply fell apart.
Well, you can see they're 0-6 in the last 6 games, but a big stat right here, 3rd down conversions, 49 the first 9 and 29 the last 6. That hurts.
3rd down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Brister gets it away, and making the reception is Maurice Johnson, the tight end, very close to the 1st down spot. Needed to get to the 32, and it's marked just outside the 32, a little closer to the 33.
Well, Bubby Brister making a nice read, seeing that blitz coming up the middle, completing the pass. That's one of the things. It's good to have veteran quarterbacks in the game because, as you see, Bubby Brister going back and coming right up the middle. You see one backer there, another one coming up, but he does a nice job of getting it away, completing the pass. You have one running back trying to block 2 backers, and he does a nice job.
And they're about 6 inches short of the 1st down, and well, here really in a meaningless game as far as the playoffs and any postseason. Yeah, you go ahead and go for it, right?
Well, you go for it, but I don't know if it really is. I mean, meaningless as far as playoffs,
right.
Sure. But there's a lot of meaning in this as far as jobs that are on the line.
4th down and less than a yard. Philadelphia 6 of 15 on 4th downs this season. Well, I think they're going to call a penalty against Philadelphia. Early movement along the offensive front and penalties, another problem for this Eagles team during the 6-game losing streak. Penalties, mistakes, interceptions. Just look at those 6 games, and that's what's killed them late in the ball game. Right here, you see a 4th and short, and they jump. Let's get the call right here. Well, you can see right here. He jumps. Instead of 4th and short, you got 4th and long. I believe it was Tom McHale, number 68. Joe Panos.
I'm sorry.
They lined up out there.
Okay.
Now there you see, second only to the Raiders in most penalties this season. So now what was 4th and inches becomes 4th and 6. Brister swings it out to Walker. Terrific play made by the linebacker James Francis. So the Cincinnati defense is held.
Well, here's a guy, when I introduced the defense, talked about his athletic ability. Here's a guy that stands 6'5", 252, plays outside backer in the NFL, but also played basketball in college at Baylor, as we have an injured player on the field.
Injured Bengal, and trying to get a look at who that is down on the field.